It's so good. You got hot? You got a little hot? Don't come in that. You want on the AC? I think everybody say yes, yes, no.
But we can
Yes, no.
hear you as well.
Okay. If you want, you can open, there's that fan. Okay. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm even honored to hear. It's devoted to that, I talk to them, I've said it. Anyway, it's good to talk about Buddhism. Buddhism has also, many different contents. Especially today we have to talk usually Buddhism. I think we really have experience for. We had Sutrayana and Tantrayana. Now we are going to the Tantrayana. Right? Therefore, usually, okay, I think we can pass it to the other. Pakanji, anything to Karo? Very gentle to Maro. I think to the not ask them. No, not Maro. Anything to number Sanji, Yamela, and then Dodon Hani or
So in the practice of Buddhism, there are two sutra practice and the tantra practice. And so in order to achieve enlightenment of Buddhahood without engaging in the practice of tantra, there's no way to achieve enlightenment. But before you can enter into the practice of the tantra, you have to have gone through the common practice. So it's said in the foundation of all good qualities that when one has completed the common practice, then may I be the fortunate one to enter into the practice of the tantra. And so what is the common practice? So among the common practice, the most important one, first one is the guru devotion. And of course, all about other practices like the precious imagery births, the practice of death and impermanence, karmic law of cause and effect. All this has to go, first before you can engage into the practice of the tantra. And of course, the renunciation, bodhicitta, and the correct view of emptiness. You should have understanding of that at least in order to engage in the practice of tantra. And what did you buy? And so in order to achieve enlightenment, you have to definitely engage in the practice of the tantra. And in order to be able to practice tantra, then first you have to receive the initiations. And so you have received many initiations, right? And at the time when you receive initiation, if you haven't gone through all the visualizations and visualizations and thinkings, so like you're told to think like this, think like that, and if you didn't do that, if you didn't follow that correctly, then you have not received initiation. So, when the Lama is giving initiation, he will say, okay, so at this point you have to think like this, at this point you have to think like that. And it's all done in the mind, right? So there's not much related to outside. So it's all done through mind. And if your mind doesn't think what you're supposed to think, then you don't receive the initiation.
Today that take up that subject that numbers of one could namju children and that catches it and not a yap and chances of my shoe. Then that lamega get on the part of some money that one share check the matter piece and there's an end lamega that one shit the man is.
So, in the initiation, the things to be done from the teacher's side and things done from the student side, disciples side. So things can be done from the disciple side. Like at the beginning, you come in, you have to rinse your mouth. You'll be given water to rinse your mouth, and you rinse in your mouth, and then come in and then make 3 prostration before you sit down. So those are the 2 first things that you do, and then the Lama will do the offerings to the obstacles to remove the obstacles. So giving to the obstacles, giving the offering to the obstacle, so that they will be satisfied with that and will not cause any interferences in your practice. And so once you have done that, then you have to make a request to the Lama to give you the initiation, and in the form of making a request, you've made a mother offering. And so once you have made the mother offering, then the Lama will start giving the initiation. At that time, he will explain what the initiation is and what to think and so forth. So you have to follow that correctly.
And then tambo ne kolon chu tson kores ta kolon da ngaba chu kores lo tika.
But of course, then it all proceeds with the correct motivation. So it is important to again set up a correct motivation.
And yegi ma chi torma da chuma tong da te rama yu ta ji ji de te ki ji mo shara mares. So lami ma la te su som ta ki ji mo shara res.
So many people, they think that receiving some like blessed water or having torma, the ritual cake distributed to you or placed on your forehead and so forth. So some people think that's most important in receiving Shri, but that's not at all. And the most important thing is to follow the visualizations, and think correctly what we're supposed to think.
Today that lami pena. 그런 주자마 다다 등도다 나도 shuma지는 막 왕왕 보시나 자체도 주는 남바도 쉐어 자체는 게 주좀 맹도로 단단히 아니 막그를 등도다 디스펜트와이라고 해서.
So I'm just explaining this because we have a Lama coming, very high Lamas coming to the center and giving initiation. So if you're interested in receiving initiation, then it will be helpful to know what you're supposed to do.
Right? So if
you don't follow the instructions and instead you just keep thinking, oh, when I'm going to receive that blessed water and so forth, then you might not receive the initiation.
And it take out the Lama Songre Pena, Lekate Achi, Tamawan, and Maima Jay Kaima, Lamata and Tamawan and Maima, Akari, one could not attain some. There is some gores. That is some good thing. Only the Maria is some not true. That there is some type of jago.
So it is all in your mind, right? To think, what this is, what that is, and so forth. During the initiation. So for the purpose of receiving the initiation, the Lama will tell you to visualize the place where you receive the initiation. It's not an ordinary place, but it's a celestial dimension that came into existence through the power of that deity's compassion and wisdom. And then also, for that very particular reason, the guru who is giving the initiation, you should think of him or her as the deity itself, not an ordinary person giving the initiation, but the deity. The deity, if it's the Tara, then you have to think the guru as the Tara. Like that. So that's for a special reason for at that time. So if you say, oh, it's not really, he's not really a Tara. The place is not really a special mention of that deity. Then you don't receive the initiation.
And then so Tombani the Jet Tonja Chinetaji, Latin tea number Shas Samada. And it a career something that takes some good Tita, Meta, Meta, Jab into some that data, let I go Maris.
And then, of course, this all has to be done, on the basis of meditating on emptiness. So from the state of emptiness, then you arise in the form of deity and so forth. And so instead of thinking of yourself as in the form of the deity, if you keep thinking, oh, I'm Jeff and so forth, then you will not receive initiation again.
Okay. So
that instruction given you at that time, following the instruction of what to think, what to do, is very important.
I think that Westerns may be very focused usually, they're very less and careful. I think the Tibetans, maybe they never get the initiation, they never listen, you can see that they're just walking, running, But they that I'm going to don't want that you be check over it. So that needs to logic. That end of his.
And so this is just to give you heads up on that, or like a preparation. Following or receiving that instruction and following that is very important.
Today by that time when it did a Tomas one, Shungi, Lembote, Tashunamachi. And a gets to get on the Temanata, Temanata, Migichi wants to. And Temanata, Tambutomana, yes.
And so in order to receive initiation, then you have to receive all these vows, right? The tantric vows, the Bodhisattva vows, and so forth. So a best basis upon which you can receive this vow, is the best would be if one is a novice or fully ordained person, novice monk or nun, or novice or fully ordained person, monk or nun. And if not, then be a lay vow holder, and then. Or if not, if you don't have any of the vows, then just observe the morality of abandoning tendon possession. And at the very least, you have taken a refuge.
Last. What the name by the ta? The one Shivala and the Tambonga, Shanshus in the Domalian. Yes.
So without the refuge, the refuge is at the very least, you have to have that. Without that, you can't receive any vows. So that is like a basis for receiving vows. So without that, you can't receive the vows.
And it should not be one Shivala, and one Shivala thing and Tambo, Shanshus in the way. They shine not to go.
And so, on the basis of that, then you receive the Bodhisattva and the tantric vows before you receive the initiation.
What is the Takama to the Helaya? Not she chanting to love somebody.
So we have already gone through the explanation of the tantric vows before this.
And the not Yamne Chevalaya, not Yamne Chevala, not Domba Shugum Giyu.
And in order to practice the tantra, there is two options in order to receive a tantric vow or not, whether it's required to receive a tantric vow or not.
And it didn't want to have to be touched,
and so in the practice of the lower class tantra, you don't have to receive the tantric vows.
And it Najolana will be Kurukulla Washwala and the Doja Hamako Watashu. They should well never tell.
And in order to receive the yoga or the highest tantra initiation, you have to receive the Vajra master initiation. And in order to receive the Vajra master initiation, you must have tantric vows.
Okay? That's my walk on to the Nyavatan, Makishila Chilaso, Tatli is a tap, as is a some good rest.
And so later when you receive the initiation, then maybe you can think, oh, this is what Geshe explained, and this is how it is, this is what I'm supposed to do now.
Okay? The ditch today. At the day that one shuni. Domba shuni. That's one of the somewhat kitchen.
And of course, after taking the vows, then it is very important to keep the vows, right? Practice to observe the vows.
근데다 송자데 다 돈바데 송 강화트도 주 송댕이 강화되고 근데 개화체와나 개화 똑체 뒷바지에는 뒷바 똑체로 그래서
And of course, once you have received the vows, then it multiplies anything you do. So if you do the good, then also the good multiplies, so it becomes more powerful, much more powerful than people without the vows, right? And same with the negative actions. So if you create negative karma, like breaking the vows, then your negative karma becomes much more powerful than those who have not taken the vow or not made the promise to not do that.
그래서 다 가서 가지고 마치시도 그냥 막 배다 자외 동화 배다 자동 집시세 막 이렇게 가서 뭐 납사해서.
So there are 14 root downfalls, the tantric vows, which we have already discussed before.
아니 막 도마시와라 산제 등에가 담수 적어요 그래서. 근데 또 다 가서 막 가지고 집시면서.
In order to receive the initiations, where there are the commitments of the five of the family. So there are 19 commitments, of the five of the families.
그래서 그때나 왕슈차에서 말이야. 난조지 저거 왕슈차고 막 도마슈탕이 말이나. 아니 뒤로도 우리 말이 되고 그래서.
And so if you have received the initiations and taken these vows, like the 19 commitments of the five of the families, then you should recite this six-session Guru Yoga because it includes all those vows.
그래서 등조치 이런 말이나 아니 그 가나 다 도마도 망가야 다 송의 꽃이 될 좋아요.
So when you read it, you think about it, right? You say it and you think about it, and then you hopefully you keep, you will not break it also, right? So that is the purpose. But even just reciting it, kind of fulfills the commitment.
나 틀리게 나라 아니 링에 담수 적용 자산한테 버리래. 아니 상조선에 자동 좁지에 대한테 버리래. 아니 막 자동 주시에 대한테 버리래. 봐.
And so this six-session Guru Yoga practice includes all these commitments, like the 19 commitments of the five to the families, the 18 downfalls of the Bodhisattva vows, and then the 14 downfalls of the tantric vows, and so forth. So all are included in this.
드리다 다 그래. 된 돈바이나 아니 드리 돈바도 쉬서마다 아니 니마치라야 테마 쭉 같이 다 전국에서 돈바도 전국은 생각 전국에. 드리다 테마 쭉 되는 거 그래서.
And once you have received these vows, you have to remember or recollect these vows 6 times a day. So you have to recite these 6 times in a day.
드리다 쇼케니 공단이 다 모두 고치고 챙겨거든요.
So usually, of course, you have to divide it on the time in 24 hours. So in 24 hours, you have to recite it 6 times. So we cannot make time all the time to do that. So what we do is, we do 3 times in the morning for the day, and then 3 times in the evening for the night.
Okay. 왔다도 저도 시다 마셔 하고 이제 해서 와. 한 먹으면 되는 요에나 양 펜도 이런
So anyway, most of you might know this already, but thinking that this would be a benefit for somebody who doesn't know, I just spoke about it.
어떤지자 다 가지 먼저 몸바다가 상제와라 아니 가지 하고 냠네 제거 하고 냠네 제발로 왕시와라 도마시고래. 그래서 도마야 무슨면나 아니 왕시도 배우고 말했어.
So in order to achieve enlightenment, you have to practice the tantra. To practice the tantra, you have to receive initiation. And to receive the initiation, you have to receive these vows. And once having received the vows, if you don't observe them properly or practice them properly, and then that will not help receiving any initiations or anything else.
Okay. 이제 다 드린 건데 막 잠깐 방도 오더니 다시 한번 좀 좁지.
And so now we're going to go through these 18 good downfalls of the Bodhisattva vows. And so it's going to be according to the six-session Guru Yoga, and I will just count through that.
Okay, so that's all in yours. Anyone has the root text? Guru Yoga? No one has. Oh yeah, she has it. maybe you can read loud the first word.
Read all 18 at one time?
So the first one which says, the first one which is receiving praising oneself, belittling others, and not giving dharma and possessions. So that's in the sixth session Guru Yoga, right? If you have the text. And so the first one is, the first root downfall is, excuse me, is praising oneself and belittling others. And so doing that, so doing that out of attachment to one's one's reputation, or with the attachment, with the hope to receive, reputation or admirations, and receive. So if people admire you, then you receive the offerings and praise and so forth. And so with that, then you praise yourself and belittle others. And so that's the root downfall of praising oneself and belittling others. And for the reason of fame and reputation, like in order to receive that for oneself, and one will be praising oneself, right? In order to be famous, then you can say good things about yourself, and then then belittle others, so that others will not be more famous than yourself. And so we always point at the faults of others, right? As if we don't have that fault.
Right? We always push them, right?
And so, usually when we are pointing at the faults of others, we don't know, maybe we don't know, we're not doing it consciously, but we are thinking in the side of our mind, we're thinking that we don't have that fault, right? So if we think we have that fault, we will not be expressing that fault on others. When we express that fault on others, we always think that we don't have that fault. But it is not true, right? We have that fault also. So anyway, in order to, make oneself more famous and to receive the admiration and offerings from others, if you praise yourself and belittle others, then it will become a root downfall. So that's the first root downfall of Bodhisattva vows. And so you can divide that into two, as the root downfall of praising oneself and the root downfall of belittling others. So then the second one is the root downfall of not giving dharma teachings and materials, material possessions. And so, out of miserliness, not giving material things to others, when you are able to give them, when you're in the position to be able to give them, you should give them, give to the poor. But out of miserliness, you think, oh, I need this, I need to have it for myself, so I'll not give it to others. So things like that. So if you do that, then that becomes a root downfall. And then same, with the Dharma teachings, not giving teachings to those who are suitable to receive the teachings, or who can benefit from that. With the thought thing that if I teach them, then they will become knowledgeable of the Dharma, and they might become even more knowledgeable than me, and so forth. So with that kind of fear, not teaching Dharma. So that happens, right? A lot among the classmates, right? So if I teach them, if I share the note with others, they might know more than me.
Usually I heard this, special, not this kind, usually the special, the chefs, special chef,
Chefs.
chef.
The chefs, the cooks.
They don't want to show them how they
Recipes.
mix the things, and coffee. 그래서 나도 뭐 가셔야 되는 거 가셔 수수 파소를 주셔야 하나 아니 그 소소 막 갑자기 장면으로 소소가 이거 드리고 끊어 보면이 아니 수수 가셔야 되고 파소를 맞춰야 되는 거です.
So this happens, to other people, many people, that when they teach Dharma to others, they will know it, and then they will know more than yourself. In a sense, with that thought, you didn't teach them, you didn't share the Dharma knowledge with others.
아니 지금 소소라 지금 심마다 하나 지금 소소라 지금 다 제약이 다 의바다 저 의바다 되는 연바이다야 소소 세내온가 아니 맞대봐야나 나도 좀 그래서.
And so even if you're able to give, you have the possession to give, and you can give them, and that will not be of any harm to yourself. But despite that, you don't want to give to them because of miserliness, because of clinging to your possession so much, or being miserly about it, then you don't give these possessions to others, and that becomes also one of the root downfalls.
어떤데 다 식당에 자동이 밀어야 아니 주로 못 되게 자동.
So this is the second one, which is the root downfall of not giving material world and Dharma teachings.
이나 대파 치와나 아니 주못 되게 자동다 너못 되게 자동다 아니 이체도.
It also can be divided into two, like the root downfall of not giving the material things, and the root downfall of not giving Dharma teachings.
어디지? 그래? 어디지? 다들 다 돈이 받지. 근데 다 쇼로가 이 받지로 나 디나라야 이식도 샤장면 대전 보마탕스.
And then the next line, which says, not forgiving, even though somebody confesses, not forgiving, and giving up the Mahayana.
아니 대 따따베 지기 받디나 아니 쇼고다 아니 숨바다 시원이 되게 두서와.
So that one has the third and fourth root downfalls of the Bodhisattva Vows.
다 시작장 문예세와 나니 다 소소 미지가 코로 나왔지. 다들 뭐지 주마치 소소 투용에 다 공다스나 노송스 오늘은 저번에 소소로 다들 개 말해 봐이나 아니 내가 돈 주고 그래서 와.
So if somebody has done bad to you, and then later they come to apologize, say I'm sorry, did that, and so forth, then even though they confess or apologize, if you just keep on saying no, still very angry with you and so forth. So if you do that, not forgiving, that's what it means by not forgiving. So if you don't forgive that person after they come and say sorry, then that also becomes a downfall.
Sometimes they in Tibetan all the time they always I don't know they fight two people. Then someone come to them say sorry, they don't accept, say, I need something that Shapajago is. Shabachi, Chararu Martin Kelem is the Lewis. Oda Lanata, Oda Juice, Oda Shuza Yoga, Kelem is.
Shabajan? Chalas Martinus?
Shabat.
So there's like a kind of a cultural thing in Tibet, like people will do something bad to others, and then later they come and say sorry. So no, I will not accept your apology unless you give me something. Give me a nice 46-inch TV. And then I'll forgive.
Then it's okay. Then maybe it's okay. You do 3 positive for me, then I'll give you. Some people say, so 제가 거기 강박이나 아니면 그냥 이제 다 소소다 말제 중요한 것이.
So some people they're very arrogant, right? And it's okay. I will accept your apology if you if you place your hand on my feet, like that. So they will say that.
소소 강박이다 소소 마셔도 것이. 뭐 파죠 고대 두나다 될지아니요.
So when the feet is supposed to be the lowest part of the body, and if somebody else in the head, which is the highest at the top part of the body, and touches that, then that means that person is lower than you, so that you become more arrogant. So accept that.
되게 재미가 가지 다 지기야. 담보마도 놀고요. 뭐는 아니 놀네 다 공다 가지고 마서 소소지. 양이나 다 소소다 이렇게 생각하고 그래서.
And so anyway, but opposite of that, in this case, when if somebody says sorry, you should happily forgive them. And if you don't do that, then that will become a root on following Bodhisattva Vows.
Okay? Before you guys, some husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, something argue, then they say, oh, sorry, I do mistake. They say, okay, then just give up. What is it? And 다 민예바 맞지? 다 수수 민예바는 맞아요. 그냥 팔아야지. 다 감주도 노다시 봐. 아니, 야나 소바는 다 대바 야다다 말하고 봐. 아니, 들리 다 가로. 들이 제일 요래서 봐. 나 대체와나 간지 다나 시작장면이 더 주고 그래서 수수 민예바 맞아 다 팔아 다 때려 지금
And so, of course, if somebody says sorry, then instead of forgiving that person, you even fight back to that person, right? Do something bad, say bad things, and beat up that person and so forth. So if you do that, of course, that it becomes more negative karma. Right? Not just not forgiving, but you're also retaliating to their harm, and then that becomes even more. So some people they do that. So if you do that, then that becomes even more negative karma.
가져가서 용어를 미치고 공달하나 공달라사면서 나는 산에 촌을 뭐 시를 마시치니 시에서쯤 메세 증여를 봤다. 대체가 가지 놀고 그랬어.
So if somebody says I'm sorry, like in the case if somebody hit you on your car, dent your door, right? And sometimes say sorry, then what do you do? Forgive you, right? And then maybe most of the time, most of us will say, no, the sorry is not enough. You have to pay for it. Or I'll see you in the court.
This is dangerous, right? 그 샤도는 좋았어. 못 먹고 와. 근데 나 들이 제마다 다 좋은 그래서 와.
So if somebody says that, and then you don't forgive that person, then it becomes a root downfall.
근데 자동대 자동 숨바들이 해서 와. 시작점 미년 봐서.
So that's the third one.
근데 나한테 파시와이나 니셔도 들어와. 시작점 미년에 자동당 근데 jel라 아니 초배다 초발은 대대봐. 그
And so that one also has two, like not forgiving after someone apologizes, and then instead of accepting the apology, you even retaliate to that person's harm, or respond to that harm with the harm by beating on the person and so forth.
다 대체 방화 다 대셔데 대체 방화 또 그래서 와 시바데.
And then the fourth one is abandoning the Mahayana.
다 내가 택진 방화다 담주 라마집에다 동호세를 yapıyoruz. 다들 이제 찍대는 내가 내가 나한테 빨리 해야 그래서 택진 방화지 아니 담주 라나 때문에 다 동호세 담주 로바트에다 동호세를 택진 방화에다 동다 이제 대치기 맞이로 와 대치 방화에 찍이 맞이는 내가 나한테 빨리 해야지. 이 시험도 대장 법에다 동다 담주 로바트에다 동호세
And so the fourth one, it says abandoning the Mahayana teaching by saying that some Bodhisattva teachings are not teaching of the Buddha, and propounding your own fabricated or perverted doctrine. So that's again when you divide, it can be divided into two. It's abandoning Mahayana, and then propounding the fabricated or perverted doctrine.
And the teaching pass and that teaching was your mares, and the teaching that that's how you come mares. And the tell it that you or Temaka to do the Yavares and Tevachim Mudim Kansaji, Mar Suzujila Shanjusam, Suzujila Shanjum, some of Jenny, Yan teaching that show Medus. Kaji teaches at the Chinta, you want to Medus. Suzu teaching the my young children, that's a good old child, Pasha by now, teaching
So when we say abandoning Mahayana and Mahayana teaching, so if you say like Mahayana teaching is not the teaching of the Buddha, it's not even a teaching, it's not teaching of the Buddha, and so no point practicing it. This is not something that Buddha taught it, and you should not practice it, especially to someone who is inclined to the teachings of the Mahayana Dharma, who is inclined to practice the Mahayana teachings. If you make that person to lose interest in the practice of the Mahayana teaching, then it becomes very worse. But anyway, saying that even if you think that the teachings of the Mahayana doctrine is not the teaching of the Buddha, if you think like that, that's abandoning Mahayana.
And then today, Chavamada, that's who Pajola, Chuloba, Chuzumaro, Suzu Samadi, Chupateni, Chulobani, Temayana, and then Tamchu Damashi.
And then on top of that, if you propound or you teach a wrong teachings to other people, then that becomes the root downfall of the Bodhisattva.
Today, that is on
So during this time, at this time, in this world, there are so many people doing that, right? Propounding their own fabricated or perverted doctrines.
Namma Pavio, Sania, Gio, Chicarado, Chikini, Chitachuchi, Mandava is the Megati, they was to do that today. You will die, you don't see your restaurant.
And so there are so many people, they saw some kind of sign, some things, they say that it came from the space or from the ground and so forth, then they teach and then people think that, that's really special, and then they follow that.
And then something on the Chalatan, Chitachi. So, I think that was a shit down Saji, that come to take the image. That you know, to watching it, which Mandash in Saji, we show you that in the mirrors and the Kashi on the was.
So there are some people that bring these things like a statue of the Buddha, and the statue of Buddha says, this is very special. It was from the time of Buddha, or even before Buddha's time. Even during Buddha's time, there was nothing special like this. So this is very special. And show that to people, and tell people about it and so forth, and then make people to follow you, with that belief. And so that is again, kind of this is what like it says here, warning or one fabricated or perverted doctrine. I can't say it's in Ramla, Sanji, how much mess to the Shiggy, Chuko, and other cosmos, Sanji, Tanais. Make sure that actually messing it, and I'm in the US. And then there are some people who say that I'm a living Buddha, so I'm the only Buddha in this world now. So whatever I teach is the Buddha's teaching and so forth. I don't know if you have heard of some teachers saying that, but I have heard some people who say that.
This is not this country. I don't think that. But most Thailand, Singapore, this area, the Asia countries, was.
In the Southeast Asia, most of these Buddhist countries, there are some Buddhist teachers. They claim themselves to be a Buddha. And so this is the downfall of propounding the fabricated or perverted teachings. So this fourth one is abandoning the Mahayana teaching and propounding the fabricated doctrines.
rāvāsa nāntari dūsarwa. Te shāsa māsa kāsi tō shīchī, tā tēnā rāra nīri chīnā tā jēchā rāvā wāsa. Tā sūsū kānō mārā wā rāra yawā tā kānō mārā rāra tsīgī sārvā kāsi.
구름 차는 시래.
kānō chāni shī. Tā kānō tā 이제 다 kāi nā kōsō yōngdā yawā. 송은 두스 rāvāsa nāntari dūsarwa.
구름 차는 시 아니?
연락다 세외군의 시, 그럼 연락다 세외군의 제, 아니 그런 군의 시, 제,
다들 시들아.
다시.
So this is again in terms of the motivation. There are four. Is in terms of the motivation, and in terms of the branches, which are the divisions among within this each root downfall. That in terms of the branches, there are 8 like that. So that's what it said in the commentary.
I'm looking for the 1, 2, 3, 4 countries here. Okay, 어떻지? 다 이제 가도 다도 지나되네 다 가지 다도 다 심으신 거 나와서 다도 저기는 심으신 거 같다 시리.
So these are the first 4 root downfalls of the Bodhisattva vow.
Okay, I'm confused. Okay, not really gone. Sure, now we have not much. You know, something we have more there. 아니. 사회 전에 시나 대 파이와이나 간 nom들이 제가 왔어.
So there's only 4, but then in terms of the branch or divisions, there are 8, right? So each one has 2.
그렇지. 사정이 나서 다 건축 주방 너무 좋아서 돼. 따뜻해. 특성마들이 되고 다시 이대로 해서 숨대로 됐어. 뒤로 싸워지나? 근데 싸워라. 건축 주방 너무 좋았어.
And so the 5th one, it says taking back offerings to the Buddha, taking back offerings to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, or taking them by robbery or devious schemes, using for your own purpose material dedicated to the Sanghas. And then the 6th one, it says abandoning or despising the Holy Dharma. And then the 7th one, is harming an ordained person. So those 3 are all in one line in the root text of the succession yoga.
Okay, then you have to text that.
But it's not the way the translation of each one, it's,
Oh, okay. But you guys have this.
Yeah, it's single. Each one.
No, the translators is together.
No, the succession
commentary-
yoga book.
No.
No,
Yeah, this
In the
book.
Debra, you have the succession yoga book, right?
Yeah.
What does it say there?
You can just read the 3rd line.
The 3rd line?
Yeah.
Not forgiven even if others, oh, sorry, because you have a 2 on each line.
Oh, okay.
Take your offerings intended for the triple gem, that's line.
Taking what?
Offerings intended for the triple gem. Each one is broken up into one line, so
Okay.
18 lines.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I think, in the proof book.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the commentary maybe. No?
So what is it? Taking intended for the 3 jewel,
Taking offerings intended for the triple gem. Taking offerings.
and then
Next one, abandoning the Dharma through sectarianism.
Checking.
The Shogun monks or nuns.
okay. Chopo movement.
Good, yeah. Anyway, this is a root text, okay? You guys you see, go yoga, you recite this every day. 다 간신데, 딱 건축 세트 지금 해서 와. 건축 봐서.
So in Tibetan we have all in one line, Koncho Koto Chopo movement. So Koncho Koto means like taking the offerings intended for the 3 jewels, for the intended for the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, and Koncho Koto, and Chopong means like abandoning Dharma. Murmitto means like disrobing a monk or nun.
뭐지? 다 올라 톱장 매전데스 건축 봐. 그러면 다 맞은 발림 비스. 와. 가지고 건축 거스는 간지 건축 숨 가르라 왕샤고 내가 모샤고 잘라 수수로 톱장 매전데 수수 때 놓으셔 와이나. 아주 다 동조예스.
So it says like taking back offerings to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Is that correct to say like that? Taking back from the taking back offering to the Buddha. So what does that mean? Like taking back?
Can you take that?
Yeah.
So not exactly like that, but what it means is like somebody offered, somebody offered it, like intended for the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and then you take it for yourself. So like especially like if you are walking in the temple or in the monastery, right, and then somebody offers that for that, and you say, even though you don't deserve it, but you say, you don't have, you don't deserve it, but you take it, so without the permission. If you take it like that, then that becomes like taking, or like it becomes like a stealing, which was intended for Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha.
How about first we offering, then we take out, then we eat. We do puja, first we offering, then we eat. Then what happens?
That's the same though.
Then everybody, he got one joy.
So that's what it sounds like, right? Taking the offering to Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha.
First we offering 2-3 hours, maybe offering, then we take the Bodhisattva Vows, Tantra Vows, we offering, then we take out, we just offering the one seat, then also booking on that seat. It's true, maybe not, right?
I think it's different.
Yeah, they cover it, because 단단히 가서 담보야, 피, 내가 가서 뒤에 쉬는 것도 마시고 왔어. 가디다 조선 소로 좀 말해. 이마 집에도 쉬는 것도 쉬고 산 거는 아직 상상해야 말이야. 쉬는 것도.
So and that will be different, right? So if you offer and then later you take it as a blessing, and then that is okay. Yeah. You offer the first part, first you offer all this, so you offer that, then later you take it for yourself as a blessed or blessed food. So that will be fine.
You don't think blessed, yeah.
What if it could apply to yourself if you make the offering and then later a little bit later you regret having made the offering and then you say, never mind, I want that, I'm going to take it back. Wouldn't that be different? Like that could also apply to that too, right? That's different like what you said if you receive it as a blessing. But the first one would be like if you regretted making the offering and then you take it back. I think that could also apply like that.
So the young people are bad,
The poor, the budget,
대바지 또 안 주고 있어.
yeah, then in that case, yes.
가서 서로 똑똑하게 먹었어.
Yeah, you already have offered, so if you take it in that way, then maybe let it become down for you.
일단 늦은 대치 야보다 꼬니에서 소리 주요 니가 그래서 뻥벗을래. 이제 니가 돼.
So this can happen a lot to the king, the ministers, and to the the gomba keepers. You know gomba keepers?
If mother said they're gomba keepers, they have a lot of keys here, many keys. They have to hold the doors, and they have to people come to offer things. They have to keep. Sometimes the gomba keepers are not really honest person. Some good to hear. 나 들에 가지 꼼초좀 강하게 쳤던 뭐 샤베기 다뭐 지세대 소소라 토탄 매지도 수수까지 내마이나 다기 돈 좀 레스 봐.
So something that was offered to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, if you take it while you don't deserve it, then it becomes this true downfall.
근데 그새 배차샤가 나서 미치가다. 아니 다른 데 소소치대야. 대 소소치대 소소라 라면 오면 소소치대 키샤와이나 뒤동안 좀 그래서. 얘나야 아니 미치야 꼼좀 나를 쳐대야. 비야지. 근데 소소이야 다 시대내야 뒤가 지금 요새 제발 배차 파서는 그렇잖아.
So if you take it for yourself, right, then it becomes true downfall. But if you take it for the use of others, then what does it become? Does it become true downfall or not?
For example, someone offering for to buy this one statue. Person to offering only the statue. Then we buy the statue. Or maybe we don't buy the statue, but we buy some chairs. Because this person buy offering the kunyoshwa was and Madute Jewo Jamne Teknoshawan Rajan.
So if somebody offered to buy a statue, but if you use that money to buy text, scriptures, then what does it become? The intended was for the statue, right? Then you change it, to buy the scriptures. So what does that become?
Downfall.
Does it?
What do you guys think?
Is it wrong to do that?
Depends on your intention.
나 다바지 다 대바지 다 자동 주고 말았어. 그러나 뒤 대문화도 수수체도 말이 왔어. 다뒤 공부하고 뒤치대자. 다 자동은 주고 말했어.
So of course, it depends on your motivation, but of course, why you buy the scripture, you say, oh, because scripture, we have the statue already, so we need a scripture. That's why we buy scripture. So if you do that with that kind of motivation, with that kind of thought, then it doesn't become real downfall, because it's for the benefit of others, right?
다때도 많이 맞지. 소수가 지금 뭐지? 소수 못하는 거냐? 아무나 소수 빨리 따는 소수는 따는 종이야. 그래서 소수 토당이 말았어.
But instead of using that money to buy a statue, if you use it to buy a car for yourself, or spend it on a party, then it becomes the real downfall, right? Definitely.
또 봐 쉽지 않은 거는 다른 소 감기 거야. 일단 너좀 말하는데 뭔가 그랬어. 와. 너 가지다 좀 멘트데 아니 된지가 공조좀 가르기 체크 뭐 잡았대. 소설을 완전 내는데 소수기 체크 달량 바꿔야나 아니 고조 봐서 그래서
So anyway, that could be this kind of all the details, right? We can go into, and you have to make clear of all these little things. But main thing is to understand that when somebody offered it, for 3 jewels, then you should not use it for yourself when you don't have the rights to afford those offerings.
어떤데 다 대라 아니 다 산재 가지고 kontroba 근데 가지고 kontroba 죽어줘 kontroba 숨세요 그래서 봐셔야나.
And so then this one is divided into 3. Taking the offerings intended for Buddha, taking the offerings intended for Dharma, taking the offerings intended for Sangha.
어떻게 다 대라 kontroba. 코스해야 돼 간지 나도 작업해야 직장하는데 코스라 그랬어. 나도 딱 미마스 대화진에 딱 나도 걔들이야 피셔 잘하는 데는 코스. 누가 정신을 그래서 대네 상계되게 하지 뭐와도 물론도 하지 아니 돈바도 되게 맞아가는 딱 다정 누가 정말 그래서.
So these offerings people make out of faith and devotion especially to the monks. It becomes it's a very scary thing because it's an offering, right? You offer to you because they have faith and devotion. But if you use it for wrong reason, then it becomes like a stealing. They offer you because you practice, but if you don't practice and you use it for other things, and it was not intended for that thing, and so then it becomes like a stealing. And so it is very scary, very risky because of that. So the offerings that was given to you, you think, oh, it's mine, so I can do whatever I want. But if you do it wrong, use it in the wrong way, then it becomes like a stealing. So it has to be very careful when you consume the things, use the things that was offered to you, like especially as a monk of now.
미마가 피셔야 됐다 너무 깔리지않아 차나는 쏴 강사셔야 필요를 봐서 아니 피다다 따는 대회에 다 대화 쉬우지 친다 필요를 봐서 우리 피스에 예대다 지금 돈바다 댕이 돈바야 보니 댕이는 따때 쉬워요 그래서 따때 뭐는 하고 쉬워요 그래서 근데 대 매화는 다 쉬워 매화 그래서
so because the offerings that was made by people is earned by very hard working with the sweat and blood. So that offering, which was earned by very hard working, and you offer that to a monk or nun, out of devotion, out of faith in them, and hoping that that they will pray for you and so forth. So if they don't pray for you and you just take it, if the monk or nun don't pray for the offerings and don't dedicate it, and instead just use it without that kind of prayers and dedications, then it becomes also like a steal.
You guys think, oh, I'm not monk, I'm not there. 근데 내가 또 초백이 잘라요. 초백이 잘라대. 초백이 뭐죠? 수수 개키치니. 이제 따와야 돼요. 그래서.
And then the same with the people who are involved in the society, in the community. People offer for the community, for the center, for the community, right? And then if you use it for yourself, then again they put it like a stealing. The intended was for the community, right? Not for the individuals.
나 소소사에 한 가지 소소 개키치니. 나 다시 소소 대한 아까 내가 제대로 미세를 못다. 배제 또 배제 다 좋아서.
And so that is more likely to happen to the people who are involved in the community, right? So like the person who is charged of taking all those things, if he or she uses it for himself, then that becomes like a stealing. But if it's intended for the individual, then of course it's okay to use it.
This is an example. Also, one time the Lingam Moche, you guys maybe heard that on this teaching. Lingam Moche, in the Lhasa, it's anybody very poor. Then Lingam Moche, he goes to puja. Then in puja they give very good food. The silver rice that every day he get. Then he never bring them at home with his mom. Mom has not much eat. Then mom told one day, why you don't bring to the leftovers for me? Then he said, no, you don't want to eat this. Then she said, no, I want to eat this, Then one day he bring this, then it's a piece of rock.
Yeah, placed it on a piece of rock.
A rock. Then ask her to mom, watch this. He put the rock, then the rock being
Cracked.
It's the real power that should
You understand the story, right?
How
So
goes
that
it?
offering, the food that was given to him, was out of devotion, out of faith to him. So only he deserves it. So because he will pray for them, he will dedicate for them. So that's okay for him to consume. Then so his mom always asks, why don't you ever bring that food? Even if there's a leftover, he will never bring for her. And so why don't you bring it? And he says, no, you cannot have it. So if you have it, then this becomes very strong negative karma because it's not intended for her, right? So if she takes it, it becomes like a stealing for her. And then the effect is so powerful that it can crack a stone. It's like it will take her to the hell realm if she eats it. So that was the story about this living witches.
탱고는 예배도를 전에 야갈래 나서 세라래야 친구모야 친구모. 그 사람하고 친구모 제가 뭐 보내지 않아 그랬어. 나 공부를 봐주 먹고 그랬어. 봐주도 짱뭐 보면 그래 샷다 봐. 가지 아주 약고 그랬어. 다음에도 가르치듯이 나 제대로 뭐 보거래. 지금 공부를 굉장히 제대로 말고. 잡아서 나버려 꼴대 살려서 꼴 꽂자 그랬어. 봐주 꼴 맞아 간다. 봐주고 오마대 자막 집제거든.
So there's a saying in the monasteries, the dogs in the monastery, the stray dogs around the monastery, they always get the leftover food from the monks, and then they always have this, what do you call that, the itchy disease when the dogs get it. Huh? Mange? So they all have that, and that's because they say that's because the dogs don't do anything, and they're just wandering around and eating the food that was offered to the monks, right? And so they all get this disease. And the cows are very healthy and very fat and very healthy, and because they give milk to the monastery, to the monks, and so when they eat from that, they're okay because they deserve it because they give back this milk. So they're very happy and very healthy and very strong. So don't know whether it's true or not, but it's the same.
It's true. Also the young monks, small monks, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old monk, younger monks, they don't have any vows. 근데 곤술 따도 대충 골라야 마시고 보여랬어. 야 곤술 나게 가서 곤술을 돈밤에 와서 꼴을 사대 봐야 되지 생각도 시에서에 대구에 이도 하고 미치 곤술 싸우라 말이지 나하고 그래서 시에서 들이었어.
So a lot of young monks, they get what they call the ringworms on their head. Yeah. And that's also because they don't have the full vows, so they don't deserve all that offerings. But they take it as a part of the offerings, and so because they don't deserve it, but the people here might say, oh, because they were not very hygienic, right?
But you can go to check, you can see these things. I don't know if it's true or not. 간지 나도 꼴막 짝기를 주면테 사제 추임 잡아고서 꼴을 짝기를 사제 추임 잡아고서 되다 미그 다 시치대 피셔줘대 다 배치 오만은 같이 먹는 거랬어.
So it is saying that the offering people offer with the faith and devotion is like a iron ball. You need a very strong teeth to chew that. Saying that you need to have really strong vows and practice really well and do all the things you're supposed to do correctly in order to consume the offerings that was offered to you.
Okay, this is maybe not you guys' business.
Geshe-la?
Yes.
Question. Sometimes when a High Lama doesn't finish his meal, and the people, the attendants or whoever, the organizers, give it the rest of that leftover food to us and say,
Yeah.
oh, it's really good for us to eat that. Is that different?
Take on the children.
So that you're taking as a blessed, right? Blessed food. Yeah, that's different.
Oh,
Take
okay.
Lamia Lutan was. So Lama de Dance the cave. Kanjamaje, they don't want to chill out with the
So anyway, that one's given as a blessing, so that's good. That's okay.
and take a Shashua Kundula Tema here, Masha.
And then the attendants, they have the rights to give it away as a blessing. So yeah, you have this. This is a blessed food, left over from the Lama, so you can have it. That's fine.
Okay? All the Shaitan, but maybe this is maybe not you guys much. But it's changed a little bit community workers. But yes, what the rich one can you what do I want? Yes, that this is just maybe monks, nuns, a business, maybe not labor business. But community workers, this is a part, that is two body, now what? It's what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, fine.
It's fine. That two body, that two bars, that two bars, and that Sanjibe Denet, and the Shanjibe Denet, that Pami, that is what.
And it says the sixth one is abandoning or despising the holy Dharma by criticizing the scriptures or practices of any of the three vehicles of the Sarabhagas, the Buddha, the Bodhisattva. If you have an inclination for Tantras, criticizing the Pramita Yana, if you are inclined towards the Mahayana, criticizing the Hinayana, and vice versa. You should all not criticize the differences in various teachings, because Buddha taught with the skillful means in various ways to guide disciples with the different dispositions. And this criticism is heavy that destroy all the stupas on earth. So, because they know some
Denet Sanjiva, Jidishi, and that Tewa Chichu Sum, Tunzu, that Pama, Tunzula Ching, Mepatawa, Tunzu Yapoma Patawa.
So yeah, so the three vehicles, Sarabhagas, Buddha, and Bodhisattvas, and the three baskets of teachings. So anyway, so those those criticizing or abandoning those teachings.
다 간제 땅으로 내는 섬이에요. was 라와 섬이 와서 내는 섬이에요. 그래서
So there are three baskets of teachings, right? Which are the subject matter of the three trainings.
라와 섬은 내는 섬이지. 아니 딱 지디시 그래서 뭐 말이야 지디시로.
And then the four classes of tantras, right?
아니 다 대화라 대화 준비 체험이에요. was
And then the vehicles, the three vehicles, the small, medium, and the great vehicle, right?
거다 다 돈조지 다 돈조라 거한데 봐. 다 돈조지 마음에 따와. 아니 돈조라 지금 다 디스트럭 해서 그렇지 않나? 아니 다 같이 단단히 그 현실성의 도말 내적인 강사들이 들이지 않는 때가 다 돈조고 있어요.
So if you despise or if you criticize these teachings that I just mentioned, all these different types of teachings, then it becomes somebody who have received the Bodhisattva vow. If that person does that, despises or criticizes these teachings, then it becomes a root downfall for that person. Right?
대략 개개면이 지원했다 그 두바인 거라면 그 자동차 견주는 거 지원 개념으로 왔어.
So if the person without Bodhisattva vow does that, then of course it is negative karma, and no matter what, it's negative karma, but it doesn't become the root downfall of the Bodhisattva vows.
어디 들리다 대라 들리듯이 제가 들었다 됐네 섬나 지금 사통 섬 근데 제대시라 지금 사통 시 대화 섬나 안에 되지 사통 섬이 다 뭐무시는 거 왔어.
And so this one is this one has many kind of branches or many divisions, like the root downfall of despising the three baskets of teachings, the root downfall of despising the three vehicles, or root downfall of despising the four classes of tantras and so forth.
어디 어디 다 다 너무 조사해야 돼서 다 눈 받으려고.
And then the seventh one is harming an ordained person. It says inflicting violence on them or stealing their robes and causing them to lose their vows.
어디 다 라주라 라주는 제가 나와시게 다 동세대 답도스.
So the harming the ordained person.
와 감시에 다 라주라 rab도 쉬고라 도마. 안에 rab도 쉬고 쩌는 주고. 안에 rab도 쉬고 안에 rab도 쉬고 밥 주고 어떻게 제가 나와 답도 주고 그래서.
And it says like inflicting the violence on them, on the person, the ordained person, stealing ordained person's robes, or causing them to lose their vows.
아니 쩌는 주셔.
And then or throwing them into a prison.
어떻게 아니 너무 조사해야 돼 아니 추망고 추 뒤가 추하고 뒤가 아니 둘을 쏘고 다 너무 지나가도 다 가지고 다 남상 초과된 거라고 해서 왔어.
And then also stealing their robes, right?
No one
The robes of the monks or nuns.
no one wanted monks robes. Do you say no? The monks robes. The 죽은 남자로 주주 꼭 써야 돼요. 주주. 내 가지는 거거든요. 된지가 남자한테 딱 밑장이 배제마다 있지. 다 너무 많이 왔어 나죠. 되게 제대로 산지가 되게 많이 왔어.
So,
제급이 또다 숙직으로 제대로 먹어야
so there's the shawl part, and there's a lower garment and the upper garment, like a shawl. And so there's for a fully ordained monk, there's a shawl with many, what do you call it? Many, like a small, supposed to be like a patches, you know, supposed to like a patch. Now that like nice designs, you know, the squares, many squares, and so with the additional clothing, they make it like a squares. And so when you put it like so many like kind of patches, you know, people will not want to have it, right? And so that if they don't want to have it, they will not steal it. And so for that purpose, then Buddha designed the clothing that way. That's what it says in the vows.
그러나 겐디가 남자 마오이처럼 겐디게 좀 늦이 샤워는 요 와서 되잖아. 좀 별로잖아.
And in the instructions, the advice of the vow, within the refuge vow, it says that you have to, you know, in the advice to what to do, you have to respect the sangha, you know, respect even their vow, even their robes. You know, so even the robes of the sangha, you have to think of that as a sangha.
진짜 다 라주기 다 남자한테 다 진백이 배치 따와는 다 두방 왔어.
And so if the lay people were to use the ordained person's robe, then it becomes into karma.
진짜 산지 레피보라 배치 매야지 다 좀 덮셔야 돼.
And so, so the Buddha, intending not to be used by the lay people, then he cut into small pieces, like patches.
너도 당가도 배에 다 배에 자기가 남자를 왔어. 뭐 산지 끊어도 늘 말했어.
And so this cloth that Geshe is wearing now, you know, that's the robe later. It was designed by the Tibetan monks in Tibet. It wasn't from the time of the Buddha's time.
다 야가치는 문에 다다 너 기루 세고도 아니 세고 그 브리트에서 인지를 왔어.
So like the one that was invented at that time, and the Buddha's time, was those yellow ones that that some of the Theravada monks wear nowadays.
그치들이다. 근데 다 조절 배치문도 막히 주도 남가라도 주도 계획 배치문도 와서 그 밭도 습도.
So maybe there's no risk here of stealing the robes, right? For you, nobody, you don't want to have monks' robes anyway, right?
But people that the Tibetan monks, lamas have very expensive kushimi.
So made of brocades, very expensive. Made of brocades, some lamas they wear that. So if you find that, maybe you can sell it and make some money.
You know, when they said before, he said he has one that he never used, then he gave up that.
So somebody offered him and then he never used it. So then since then he said he's never going to wear those expensive brocade, made of brocades.
무슨 탐삼 딱 유튜브 딱 빠르는 도다 딱 가시고 고시는데 뭔가 수부들 거리고 아 괜찮아 괜찮아 잘 왔어 뭐니 다 괜찮다 좀 해야겠어
And so nowadays, maybe you can see in the YouTube or in the internet, you see the images of these lamas wearing all these fancy clothes made of silk and brocades, and it becomes like an ornament, right? And monks, as a monk, you are not allowed to wear any ornaments.
다 되게 안 나면 도타 이거도 안 남고 다음에 그거 나고 매다서 소리. 도타 이게 그 고사다 도타는 이게 나고 해서 시전에 들리는 거죠.
So in general, of course, you're not allowed to, but if you have the rights, then you can do it. But in general, monks are not allowed to wear ornaments.
What? Okay, this is not you guys' business. Just I'm just, 다 같이 아니 다 잡았어요 주가다. 아니 잡았더니 다 잡았자서 버리는 용어로 왔어. 되게 제게 돼가지 아니 샤시 좀 받는 나 자동 좀 그랬어.
And so, but but it's impossible for lay people to inflict violence on the other person, right? And throw them into a prison or cause them to lose their vows, right? That's that if you somebody with the Bodhisattva vow, if they do that, then it becomes a real downfall of Bodhisattva vows.
다 되는 다 제와티 삼명가시면 자동세 누수와.
And then the seventh one, the eighth one is committing any of the 5 heinous crimes.
아니 내리게 다 자동세 다 자동 중에 상지 샤주고 가고 있는 다 주말에서. 이 쇼는 중요해. 나 대지가 있어. 대지가 게대 예시를 가도 딱 제일 좋아서. 같이 나 세메시가 다 동서 다 대라는 세메랑 말을 가지고 파세바 마세바 라주마세바 대지가 그런 게 이제 타셔가. 얘들이 예시 파세.
And so this one, is not very likely to happen, right? Once you have received one sort of vow, you will not go after killing your father, right? But it happened, during Buddha's time, with King Ajahn Shatru, who imprisoned his father and then killed him, or caused him to die by imprisoning him, and that became like a heinous crime. But anyway, so the heinous crime, they're like killing, your father, killing your mother, killing an arhat, and then it says, possible master tenisha will tell us.
파세바 마세바
Rajabhaseva.
대지가 그런 게 타셔가.
And then shedding of blood from Buddha's holy body.
파세바 마세바 파세바 마세바 대지가 그런 게 타셔가. 파세바 파세바
Gindagi Ejeva.
게대 예제바 파세바 마세바 대지가 그런 게 타셔가. 게대 예제바 느끼가
Rajabhaseva.
여주마세바.
So killing your mother, killing your father, killing an arhat, and cause disunity amongst the sangha, causing like schism, right? Making the sanghas to fight with each other, and then shedding of blood from Buddha's body or wounding Buddha's body, Buddha's holy body. So those are the 5 heinous crimes.
어떻게든 다 되는 것만이 레지 게대 예제에 다 정말 레지겠대 제가 그래서 레지 그런 이제 빠지고 짓을 봤더니 아니 다 상제도
And there's the cause disunity among the sanghas was committed by Devadatta during the time of Buddha, and so he created his own community, a monk of monks, and then made the monks in the Buddha's community to fight with each other and so forth. So that was the heinous crime of causing schism in the sangha community.
어디다 다 대고 거기 다 되는 거 제와 있나? 아니 다 따로 좀 해서 자주세요. 많이 거지.
And so with someone with the Bodhisattva vow, if we were to commit any of these 5, then it becomes a real downfall of the Bodhisattva vow.
다 대가 되는 다 대도 다 치네. 그러면서 얘가 저래 도와서. 얘나 나 나도 같이 견대게 했어.
Geshe, can you say more about drawing blood of a Buddha?
근데 다 상제 거라 같이.
먼저 단도도 연하고.
대단한 거 무조건 상제 샤주 거. 그래서 용 말했어. 그러면 상제 샤주 거 중요해. 그렇지? 그럼 상제가 가지고 좀 쉬워.
그러나 소소 교신이 저번에.
다 단단하고 다 내라야 돼. 엄마 상제 값으로 왔어. 다 대상 제만은 수수 기비신이나 근데 지원이나 다들 집어용을
And
해서 내가 산지 해줄 거야.
so this one was described as, wounding Buddha's body at the time when Buddha was still around, right? So when the Buddhas are around, then you can do that. But right now, Buddha is not around, so you can't, really wound his holy body. But your own teacher, who is a representative of the Buddha, and who is similar and same as the Buddha, if you do that, in my opinion, that will become one of the heinous crimes of wounding Buddha's body.
그래서 내가 파드마 세게 되면 다 파드마가 삼수치고 그랬어.
And then same, with the killing father's mother, of course, not likely to happen. But nowadays, there are people who don't, who do without knowing it, right? But someone with Bodhisattva Vows is very unlikely to do, unless you are influenced very badly, by someone very negative.
배차셨는데 그때 나라 삼사를 났어. 얼마 내가 가시기 아니 권유 이거 미시스. 가시기 빠와만 나 예를 못 전에 제가 다시 나가서 했으면 저절로 내 접촉들이 갑자기 들이 생겼어. 이미 하고 메스.
I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I've heard some people said that some children will make the parents to die sooner, like if they've been sick for a long time, and then they will tell the doctor to give some kind of medicine to kill them, or make them die sooner.
들이 가래 제대 가는데 제 파주는 소소를 찍 이거 좋아도 근데 진이 보고 바로 왔어. 나지나 그런 거지만 대조고시나 소소를 지켜서 먹어야 돼. 용시 바로 왔어.
And so there could be different motives. And so if the parents are very sick for a very long time, maybe they don't want to spend money on treating them, or don't want to serve them for such a long time. Or sometimes maybe they even have a wrong motivation, thinking that if they were to die soon, then you'll be able to receive all the possessions, and maybe money from the insurance and so forth. So with that thought, then you might ask.
나 고시 받지 뭐를 남겼어. 내가 아마 저것이나 아니 다가 배는 이 먹어요. 그래서 그때 시국제 때서 나왔어.
So I know somebody that acquaintance of mine, who said that he's waiting for his parents to die because they have a lot of money in their bank. So when they die, then he'll get the money.
근데 너와 용 쓰면 돼 와서까지. 근데 나 상속치고 대체해 말이죠.
So it is not impossible to happen even nowadays, right? So we have to be careful about that.
아니 내가 걔네 얘기다 걔네마다 얘나 두고 봤지. 이해 제대로 용쓰기 딱 좀마다 배우는 여러 다 점점 시도하고 그래서.
So that causing disunity or schism among the sanghas. So it doesn't have to be like monks or nuns. It could be like like the community here, who are like the sanghas, right? And helping each other to do our studies and practices, and so we become a sangha. So if we say something bad about one and then side on others and so forth, and then cause disunity, among the sanghas, then that will become one of the heinous crimes, described here.
나 파주라도 컨트롤 찍라. 미세마티 찍라고 했어요. 내가 용 파주에서 다 군바 붙여지고 왔어.
So you go and speak to somebody and say something bad about this person, and then come and speak to this person and say something bad about them, cause them to, get into a fight and so forth. If you do that, then this is what one of the heinous crimes is.
그래서 간전 3명만 단다 의미는 이제 상제까지 주하면 된다. 그때 나오라고 용서를 넣어서 그래서.
And so this is something that happened during the time of Buddha, and that's how it was recognized as the crime. But it's not unlikely to happen nowadays also, right?
나오라고 용서 yes.
I had actually heard that actually couldn't happen once the Buddha passed away. It could only be a heinous crime if during the time of the Buddha. So that one also wasn't possible to happen technically.
So you heard it's not possible to happen?
Right, it's not a heinous crime. I mean, it's obviously causes disharmony, and it's not good. It's not a heinous crime if that happens, because it could only happen during the time of the Buddha.
You mean even the schism?
The schism, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. 알았으나 더 근데 엔지아이 상계급을 맡아 주고 말았어. 단단한 것도 근데 엔지아이 다 참여를 해라. 디사야사 시그마스 내가 거기서.
그때 영화들은 저와 저기 요요를 했어. 같이 겐디에 세워졌다 겐디까지 두민이 당하는 거 왔어. 단단히 용어들이 있어.
So causing schism or disunity means like, like separating them, right? And so that can happen nowadays also, right? It doesn't have to be during the time of Buddha.
Right, but it's not a heinous, it's obviously negative, but it's not a heinous crime, not one of the 5 heinous crimes now. And I don't know, maybe I have to look through that and misinterpret it, but I did thought I read.
단단 예바더레스. 이나다 사명하기라고 사명하는 가는 사명한 언어지가 예바들 말했어. 그래서 한쪽으로는 파세보다 더 사명한 걸 가지고 하는 것 같은 쪽으로 해서 나나비가.
다 듣는데 집안에 파세 마세는 한마디 씹어 마세는 저희도 다한테 같이 내니까 서울에서.
So that one, like in the case of Sean's caution about shedding of blood from Buddha's body, that of course yes makes sense. You have to have a Buddha, because you won't not be familiar. But causing schism, among the Sangha, it doesn't have to be only Buddha's time because, this is my, opinion, but the person who explained that might have a reason. So like this one is causing schism, this one is causing, them to be separated, them to be disharmony with each other and, fight with each other, and that time is also sin. So why not this heinous crime and why only that heinous crime? It doesn't make sense, right? So then you might have to say then, okay, if you kill your mother at this time, it was not the heinous crime. It was only a heinous crime during Buddha's time. If you kill mother, then it's heinous crime, and if you kill mother now, it's not heinous crime. You might even say that. Will that be okay also?
I don't know.
That's right.
난 내가 사는 마사는 내 먼저 사지 값 좋은데 사지 값도 좋은데 내가 좋은데 되지. 난내 코바지안에 오르는 리바데 오르서.
So, of course, what is explained here is during the time of the Buddha's time. So that happened there, and then it was recognized as a heinous crime. But then, that can happen. Similar can happen. Not exactly happening at that time can happen now, but similar can happen. And then, if it is similar, then you can say it is a heinous crime.
너와는 누디셔야 돼. 그때 나오지. 근데 사지 소리 왔어. 내 제와도 두고도 두스. 두고도 제시 그런 걸 했어. 두고도 마치 그런 걸 했어. 사지 소리 왔어.
So it's it doesn't have to be what Buddha said. If it is similar to what Buddha said, then it's okay. If it's not similar to what Buddha said, then it's not okay.
사지 좀 내도 공부하고 시와다. 당도 같이 다 사지 매번 다 shum어서 깨져서 저걸나. 근데 이게 지셔 빼자도 지셔서. 이게 라바도는 통도나 이게 롱을에서 라바도는 통도나 이게 롱아이 이제 주고래서. 이게 롱고 말에서는 바깥에 와도는 통도나 물어는 다 맛이 있다 사지 없어서.
So then when Buddha was about to pass away, his disciples asked him, what will you do when you pass away? Who will go and check? And then he said, you can go and you can check with my teachings. If it goes along with my teachings, and in the teaching it says okay, and it goes along with that, then it's okay. If in the teaching it says it's not okay, and it goes along with that, then it's not okay.
Oh, look at that discard. That in the your thing, that they were talking like that. Can you imagine that? This was
So yeah, that's what my experience, my opinion is. But of course, there might be a reason or a different way of explaining in the way you said it. So it could be different also.
Okay. Yep.
I was always under the impression that creating a schism in the Sangha, included repudiating another teaching, another tenet system, or say we study in the Kurukulla tradition, and saying, Nimbas, they have no idea what they're talking about. They should probably sell ice cream or something. Is that
No, the schism has to be in one group. So if it's a separate group, that's like more like sectarism. So they're saying preferring one over other. That's okay because they're already separated. But when they're in one group, like in this group, so you go and talk to someone like that and then make this group to be two separated. So one group in a schism is causing disunity in one group, in one community, and that's the schism.
So that would fall under sectarianism.
That's right. Yes. So of course that's also bad, right? So, even that is bad. Not the same schism. Yeah.
Okay.
But that falls under number 6, which is criticizing,
Yes.
you know, the Parivijayana.
Yes.
Or if we incline toward the Mahayana, criticizing the
Chobong
Hinayana.
Saro, 어디라.
That is their 주범에서.
Yes, that will become abandoning Dharma. The sixth one is abandoning Dharma.
Good guys, you guys have many different ideas. This is good, you know. Usually we say something we don't think, then we say, okay, that different ideas, then we talk more understanding now. Okay.
What if somebody stepped on an ant that was an emanation of a Buddha?
It's possible. That they go 그런 거 되게 용 말아봤어. 네.
용수이 말라 하는 게.
사실 딱 용.
쓰기 말아. 그 상계주변은 그 저투로.
근데 용 쓰기나. 용 쓰는 거로.
That's not possible to happen. If he's in emanation of Buddha, then he knows somebody stepping, he will be running away. And he will not want the person to create native karma, so he will even run away faster.
Have you ever seen an ant floating?
It's a hard one.
That's why you did 6 legs.
Or maybe he will emanate in a wing right away and then fly away.
사지가 탑.
He's a very compassionate, and then he's very skilled in the method, right? So he will have many different methods not to make the person create native karma.
Well, his cousin created a lot of negative karma with him.
그런 게 가서 빈자를 하다. 대진 때는 그런 일들은 네가 못 살았어. 가지는 그 상계된 탑기버지는 싸마죠. 맞아요, 같이 맞아요.
다 티버를 내지 않고 다 그래서 다 누이자서입니다. 그 근데 상계를 티 가서 이번 상계에서 그러면 그냥 내자서가 막 대양이 내지 이번에는 정부에서 대양 지금
So we never know. It could be just Buddha teaching others, that how you can create native karma in this way. So if you were to do this, and then you can create native karma. In order to show that, maybe he might have displayed that. So in order to show an example to other people, so, okay, he did this, right? So this is native karma. He did like this, that's native karma. To show them that doing this is native karma. Might have done that.
예바 뭐보이다. 예바 뭐보여. 그다 개노라 투미장 같이 말씀하세요. 또 미치고 도시 도네야. 지 내가 지 내가 다 그랬어.
So there's many number of vows that fully ordained monks have. They're like 250 something vows that fully ordained monks have. It was not all 250 something from the beginning. First it was says, okay, so this is not allowed to, so one vow. And then it's, oh, this is also not allowed, but then it becomes number 2, then and that's how it got increased up to 200. Also you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And that's how it got increased to that many numbers.
This is a constitution of the Dharma. Constitution of the monks. Same to the countries laws. They add more, right?
How many vows? 200?
So Gelula
253 vows.
Problem remembering
Yeah,
them.
remember.
First we are men, 4. Pambashi, Pamachosum, Pantosumchu, Mashipa Gushu, Visit Tadang Chuni, Sushashi. Okay? 4, 8, Pambashi.
So there's 4 moral defeats.
Okay, Pambashi.
Moral defeats, called moral defeats. So which defeats your moralities.
Pamachosum,
And then there's 13 remainders.
and then Pantosumchu,
And then the 30 abandonments.
Mashipa Guchu,
Mashiba.
Mashipa.
Majaba.
Mashipa Guchu.
Majaba. 재미없어요. Majaba.
Mashipa Guchu.
맞아. 가가라 전편에 가셔.
Mashipa Guchu. 하여튼 빼먹어서 찌릿찌릿. 제일 국주에서.
So then, so this is Majaba, which means not allowed to do. That's 90 not allowed to do.
And then 예제 자다 주니.
And then, what's that? 112 what's that, misdeeds.
네, 방도 숨좀 마시다 그 예제 자다 주니. and then 소샤시.
And then So there are 4 individual confessions.
How many? 두둑지들이? 9성. 다 대가나 개놈만한데 대가나 대마을 성장하셨어.
So Buddha and none has even more, 300 something.
Okay. Yeah.
The lineage I used to attend, I'm under the impression that they're not recognized by the Dalai Lama. So does that mean my vows that I already have are not recognized, that I need to retake them?
군석이 내가 바라는 게 너무 처수지라 디레드네 처수지가 다 가서 다 쳐봐서 그래다 라마서 때 야름지 먼저 제가 말했어. 아니 디제자 다 뭐라게 된 넘버 수제도 자더니 먼저 제가 말했어. 근데 또 내가 넘버 수제도 이제 겹 쉬고 그래서.
쉬고 마시면 참 넘버 수제 도마트가 돼야 돼. 쉬고 마시.
No, the vows are valid, so you can they're okay. You don't have to retake them.
근데 야름지 군주 추면에 미쳐 말이지. 군주 추 제당 문에 미쳐.
So it's not that his holiness doesn't recognize their teaching; it's the way they do is not, acceptable. Like like it says here, in teaching or perverted, fabricated or perverted teachings. So that's similar to what his holiness is talking about. So that is not good. So what the Bodhisattva vows that you receive from them is similar, to what we do here. And so in terms of that, you have the Bodhisattva vows.
Okay? You don't need to cover more. If you book it, you have to cover more. Okay.
I just have one more.
Okay.
This is 2-part. When Geshe talked about the refuge earlier, in order to be a Buddhist, you have to have refuge in the 3 jewels. If you take refuge in the 3 jewels from your heart, but you've never actually attended a refuge ceremony, are you technically a Buddhist, or only Buddhist after you have attended a refuge ceremony and took the vows?
So 생각을 이거 인지면 더 마시고 산도 가면 좋고.
그래야 돼.
그래야 다.
쉬고나.
쉬고 말이야. 뭐 쉬고는 때내다 먹고지 말이야. 쉬고 맞아서 소소가 안닝 타버려 뒤에는 뒤거라. 가서 다들 가서 이 책이 대박.
그거는 나는 직접 대주면 이거 이 책이 대박이나.
뒤에는 뒤거라.
대다 점주 제니도 산업 하시던 되게 좋았어요. 제니 저런 소리가 이거 있나?
준이를 뒤에는 뒤거라 그잖아.
대는 하신 되게 좋았어요. 아, 제가 자 하고
you don't have to receive the the refuge vow from somebody. The refuge, having refuge or not is important. So whether you have refuge or not depends whether you have the 2 causes of the refuge or not. Like having fear towards the suffering of the Lord, and then having the faith that Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha has the power to protect you. So as long as you have that, then you have the refuge.
So what if the 가지 쉬어야 등재도 넘나 아니다 시나 야.
But if you have the facility to receive it, then it's good to receive it.
So if somebody attended a Bodhisattva vow ceremony with one of their teachers and they took refuge from their heart, but they never actually received it, but they have it in their mind stream, and then they go to a Bodhisattva vow ceremony and they take the vows, would they receive the Bodhisattva vows?
듣다 가든 가든 때문에 뭐 되게 봐.
삼성 책임다.
그래.
삼성 책임다.
토고를 가야 된다. 내가 토고를 가서 너 맞아 갔다. 그걸 매번에도 이제 되게 봐.
만나는 것도 어떻게 걸리다가 하고 거죠. 그러다 예산만 같이 이러 소소 고급이나 아니 등에는 쉬나요 저기 요소.
So usually, there is a preceded to the Bodhisattva vow. There will be refuge vow also. So first you take refuge, and then you receive the Bodhisattva vow. And so you have to take refuge. You don't have to receive the refuge vow. So usually, the refuge vow also includes. The Bodhisattva vow also includes the refuge vow, taking refuge. Not the refuge vow, but taking refuge in the ceremony itself, right?
Yeah. So they take the refuge and then they get the vow.
The vow, yes. So they take the refuge and then they receive the Bodhisattva vow. And so if it doesn't include, then maybe it's not really necessary. It's not necessary to take the refuge vow. But as long as you have the refuge in your heart, then that's good enough. But Geshe says he's not very sure, and that's why he's thinking that it would be good, to receive the refuge vow if you have the opportunity to receive it.
And they got that jump to do much of an account. Copy about the dominant and one ha고 그랬어.
And so, there are things that you're supposed to do and things that you're not supposed to do once you have received the refuge vow, and those you have to understand also. So if you haven't received the vow, then maybe you don't know, you will not be aware of those things, And even if you have that in your heart, the two causes of refuge in your heart, but you don't know what to do and what not to do, that having two causes of refuge doesn't explain to you that you have to make offerings of everything that you eat and drink. But once you have taken refuge, then you have to do that. So without knowing, you're creating all this negative karma. Right? So, if you take a vow, then you come to know these things, and then that will protect you from creating vows without knowing. I mean, creating negative karma without knowing.
Okay?
Thank you, Geshe.
Okay, then finish. Oh yeah.
Maybe we can say Tara praises for the Masapana Kushe.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, the mandala, then do 21 Tara, page 221. Or, already I mentioned a couple of weeks, I will start everybody try to recite how much you can 21 Tara. You can count, give back the SPC, and you can give the all numbers together to APMG organization. We collect the number of the Tara. And it's very important to put the knowledge, the hours, APMG directors, the guru, it's very important to live very long for us. And whatever we do is for the prayer. And prayer is Tara's best prayer. And everybody ignores, some people already memorize, everyone memorize. And try to every day, maybe do just once a day. 30 days, you do 30. Then 30 people, do 30, then how many? Maybe 100 people do, 100, then how many come in there together? Therefore, just try to count, then give that number. It's very good to walk together, create a merit together. Very important. This is also your
There's also puja for yourself.
You don't need to puja different. It's also puja. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay, I guess we're gonna do the praises first. Page 221. Oh, my prostrate to the noble, transcendent nature, from the holy statements of the Lord of the Lord's dear Lord, homage she who takes the lines of 100 of the temple, praising the glad praises when